Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host Brian, and today I'm talking 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 5. This is the tell-all part 2. We will be having a third tell-all, part 3. I was not expecting that. I thought when I saw this episode was 2 hours, I thought this was going to be it, but it's not. We still have a lot of people to even talk about. I mean, we barely talked about Brandon and Mary, and I feel like we've only really touched on Shakana and Sarper once in this reunion. Off the top, I think the host's name is Sean. I'm not really loving like she just asks a question and then it just goes. There's a lot of dead silence, dead air, and I know there's like translation issues and stuff, but like let's keep it moving. Like I just feel like we lose a lot of steam where we're just waiting on somebody to answer, and I wonder if it's even longer when that happens and they just cut it. But yeah, I just think that we could be a little more dive deeper and really pushing people's buttons because I feel like other than it's just a lot of pointing fingers and not pointing fingers at themselves because everyone has a lot to say about every relationship except their own. And I'm gonna put that nomination on Shikana. Shikana has so much to say about other people's relationships and usually sides with weird allies, honestly. And she usually seems to side with the dudes now that I think about it, because during the Holly Wayne portion, she was kind of siding with Wayne, and I think she might even been siding with TJ. I didn't see we didn't see too much of TJ, but I think like the last episode, like, and there's even a comment in the preview for the next one where she is like, "Oh, I would let my daughter be in a relationship like I'm in," and she thinks her relationship is fine, and she's just like cuckoo. We picked back up like with Julio and Kirsten, and I just this one I don't really care about because we barely saw him for multiple episodes at the end of the season, and I just don't know if I subscribe to a dude just recording somebody, even anybody, but like this dude just recording somebody and like kind of putting somebody on blast. Like I know it needs to be done, but I don't love. Hey, I recorded you. You deleted it, and it's just like I don't know. And then we call her friend Poppy, whoever she calls Poppy, says she wasn't cheating. It's a bunch of he say she say. He's apparently with somebody new. She claims that they started being together before they broke up. I mean, it's one I don't really it's I don't care. I don't really care about it that much, unfortunately. Another relationship I really don't care about is Kenny and Armando. And it's not that I have a problem with either of them. I just think that this relationship is fine. They're just the whole point of their plot was they want to get a surrogate and they want to move to Mexico City. And I don't think that's what 90 Day Fiance is about. I thought it was more about like you're trying to marry somebody and they're married and they are fine in the relationship. And I know they have their like problems, but I just think that that should be maybe its own subsection of the show, like after the 90 days or something like that. I don't think this should be something. And I will say I loved Armando. He asked some pretty good questions today. One to Tim, who Tim had a lot to say today. He's always talking, always making comments. And he said one to Yohan in Spanish, which I thought was good. Um, Speaking of the comment to Tim, Armando asked Tim, "Hey, when Kenny's in New York, do you guys meet up, text and meet up?" And didn't really give like a super definitive answer, but I don't know. Like, and if they were hooking up, would he have a problem with that? I just didn't. I didn't get the. I took it as like, are you hooking up with him? But like, no one else really took it as that way. So I don't know. Sarper gives a dance lesson when they're talking about. They show a clip of Armando at his first like male strip club, and Sarper gives a dance lesson that didn't really translate well over the TV, over the screen, his screen to the studio to the TV. It just nah. Uh, Danielle and Tim they say they have a menage a trois in like a break in the show, and they like film them having conversations, and it was with other cast members of 90 Days, so that is super interesting. So they would say they shit where they eat. Um, Danielle and Yohan, this was a lot of the episode, and I know Yohan is definitely wrong in this thing, but I don't like Danielle at all. Like I really don't. I don't like her at all. They they said they still hang out with each other's family, and it's like she's like, oh, I like his family, but at the same time it's like you need to break it off. If you're really done with him, break it off. um and she stalks his social media, and not even stalks, like she honestly just controls. Like she can read all of his text messages, all of his Instagram DMs, and I think that's a little weird. It kind of falls on the Julio thing as well. Like I don't love that kind of stuff. I think it's manipulative a little bit, where you just kind of you have. And again, I don't agree with what Yohan's doing. I really don't. But I just don't love the way they're going about getting these things. And she says it, and no one has a problem with it. No one made a comment like, "Yo, don't you think you should break that off if you really want to? Why do you still want to have control of these things?" And I just think that's weird that none of those things were brought up at all by anybody on the show. And that's something the host should bring up. Honestly, it's like you don't think it's weird that you are still having access to this and doing it. And there was even a claim that she's like bad mouthing him, and like at the same time, it's like why is no one questioning like, hey, are you setting up these scenarios to like make him look bad? Like these are things that I'm thinking as a viewer, and it's like no one over there is thinking, and I just find that strange. Um, she says that he's been with multiple women post their marriage, even bringing some back to their apartment, and apparently that apartment complex is where he would bring women home from the hotel when he worked there. And then again, another thing I think of is like, why did you get involved in this if you know this is the kind of stuff that was going down? Like maybe you should have deaded it then. Like be I don't know. She puts him on blast on a Sankey Panky page in the Dominican Republic, and she says like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that," but I just it's just a messy. They were on last season, and we knew they weren't going to work, and then they kind of squeak on this season, and I don't know. I don't think we need to see them again. They kind of stink. Then we go back to TJ and Kimberly. Yash joins the show. And I was expecting a lot more fireworks, and it was pretty anticlimactic, honestly. Like they reviewed a scene, and I thought Yash honestly thought Yash TJ and TJ wouldn't take a side, which I think I mean, as I'm married, I think you gotta take your wife's side more times than not, or just kind of you need to like I don't know. I unless your wife is like 100% totally wrong, I don't know. You you gotta like have you gotta sit down and have a conversation. Like I feel like he's kind of running from the situation a little bit, but yeah. And then I thought Yash did all right. He was like, look, like so he was asked like, do you like her as your step or not your step, your sister-in-law? And he had a long pause, but he did say yeah. And he's like, look, like we're a family, we got to figure these things out. And I thought that was a good answer, and definitely rebounded. Kimberly rebounded from last episode. Like she was definitely the explosive moment. But and then Sarper makes a comment like, I didn't like Kimberly's matching Yash's tone where that one scene on the roof where he called her stupid and she was mad about that. And I just that in of all people to say that, I think that he looks like the way he treats Shikana, it just didn't sit well with some of the guest alumni of 90 Day Fiance. And yeah, he just Sarper should just only be taught. He should only speak when he's spoken to. He's just gonna say dumb stuff. And then we kind of ended the episode with Holly and Wayne. Holly hasn't been in South Africa for 5 months. She left because her mom was sick. Wayne saying like, "Oh, her mom was better like a day or two after she got home. She should have came back by now." Then she's like, "Well, I need to pay off our credit card debt, like expensing things for your business on there." And Tim's like, "Well, how much is it?" She's like, "Oh, I'll pay it off in 2 months." And then on my head's like, "How much is it really?" Um, she says she can't get a job in South Africa. um he keeps saying like she wants to talk on the phone for 3 hours a day. He keeps saying his phone is broken or something like that, and that's why they haven't talked in a few weeks. And yeah, this one's dead. I think he was supposed to go up and visit her in America, and he didn't want to go. He's like, America's not for me. And Tim's like, well, why don't you just go there for a week, see if it is really truly isn't for you, and then you can be like, yeah, I don't want to come here. But I think he's got a tradesman job, and I don't know whether it's carpentry, plumbing, or something else, but like I think he could maybe find a job if he has all this experience. I'm sure he could find some work in America, but I don't know. I think he's being very stubborn. And I understand where Holly's coming from. Like you come to another country and you have these scheduled blackouts, and it's scary. I mean, it's scary as a dude. I'm sure it's scary as a woman, especially like you don't know there's break-ins and things like that. And I don't know. And I think this one's dead, unfortunately. That's not unfortunately. I don't really have a strong connection to any of these couples. I think a lot of it's just And I know some of the audience doesn't agree with this, but I think a lot of this is just these people are dumb. They don't think about what they're doing. They don't think about anything, or they just live in the moment. And I think they're like ruining their lives almost with this stuff. I think they look stupid. But next episode, it looks like we're going to see more of Mary and Brandon. His mom's going to join because we saw that on the preview for coming into episode 2, and then we didn't see it at all today. So that's going to be on the finale next week. We're going to talk to Sarper and Shekinah a little more. And I'm sure we'll get a wrap up. There's like an altercation between Shekinah and one of the dudes, the alumni. I don't even know. The show is just so wacky sometimes. It's crazy. I need to watch the older seasons to kind of get a grasp of the universe that this TLC has created over here. But yeah, love the show. I just wish there was a few more things. I just kind of wish the host had a little more like control and asked some more. I wish more hard hitting questions were asked. Personally, I just think it's like kind of like, well, what did you feel? How did you feel? Like dig into these people. Like they are doing very questionable things constantly. So just ask them questions. Thanks for watching. I will be back next week for the part 3 finale coverage of the season 5. Women tell all, just to tell all. But check out all of our other things. Love Island Australia is currently going on. It should be over soon. Surviving Barstool, CBS Wednesdays, and I think just House of Villains on Thursday because the Bachelor franchises are over. But check out all of our stuff. We are, and any show suggestions as well. We will always give something a chance, especially when we have nothing going on, because we are going to be hitting a little bit of a lull before Christmas time, and give us something to watch. I'm just doing backlog stuff to kind of get some understanding of some franchises. But if you have any suggestions for a show that's going on or coming on really soon, give us a shout. We'll cover it. If it's something you're interested in, we'll give it a chance for sure. But I thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.